All right, folks. Good morning, Packers fans, and I say good morning because it is 2:56 in the morning. I don't even know if you can see that. I was at the draft, covering the draft until 12:30. Went and got some Arby's, came back, and now we are ready to break down some of the first round, but most importantly, we're going to talk a little bit about what's happened with the Green Bay Packers today, because that's why you're here probably. Um, so first of all, Eric Stokes, loved the pick, loved the player, very much approve of that. But before we actually got to like 11:30 at night when Eric Stokes got picked, we had a little bit of drama because Mr. Jeopardy decided he wanted to hijack draft day because his draft day got hijacked last year. So he's like, we're gonna sit down, we're gonna hijack Goody and his draft day today, and that's what happened. So if you've been living under a rock, um, Schefter tweeted out at like 3 o'clock Eastern time that Rodgers was unhappy in Green Bay and did not want to return to the team. So just picture this. I'm sitting on a bus, on a shuttle, going from a hotel where I got my draft credentials, going to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, where all of the media was and everything, right next to First Energy Stadium. I was having a good time. I was enjoying myself because it's the first time I've ever been to the draft, first time I've ever covered the draft in person. I was just, living life, talking to the other reporters, right? I get the notification on my phone. Aaron Rodgers wants out of Cleveland. Aaron Rodgers wants out of Green Bay. I'm in Cleveland. He wants out of Green Bay. I'm like, excuse me, what is going on here? What is happening, right? So, you know, it all starts to go down. Um, Meanwhile, one of the few sources that I have inside Green Bay, because I'm just starting out. I'm not a big hot shot yet. One of the few sources I have inside Green Bay is somebody in the cap room, and apparently, and again, this is all hypothetical, and I don't know how much of this goes down normally, but apparently there was somebody in the cap room who was told, "Give me a situation. What happens if we trade Aaron Rodgers to the Denver Broncos?" All of this is going on. Ben Albright is on Twitter causing a storm. Adam Schefter and ESPN are basically saying Rodgers wants nothing to do with Green Bay. Then Ian Rappaport and NFL Network are like, not so much. This is more of just like a contract extension quarrel. Not necessarily Aaron Rodgers never going to play in Green Bay again. Whatever. As I'm sure you guys know, Packers Twitter is very rational. Nobody freaked out about this at all. And we were all just very calm. We had a good time and we just reasoned this out. And by the time we got to the start of the draft at 8 p.m., everybody was very calm. Not true at all. Everybody lost their collective minds and were drinking themselves into oblivion by like 5:30 p.m. Mind me taking a sip of my Rockstar because it's 3 in the morning. Anyway, yeah, it was a mess. So here's my breakdown. They didn't trade Aaron Rodgers tonight. Goody came on tonight in their press conference that was supposed to be about Eric Stokes, and he basically said, "We're not trading Aaron Rodgers. Not going to happen. There's no situation in which Aaron Rodgers gets dealt away from the Green Bay Packers." I'm inclined to trust Goody until I hear otherwise. They fielded a call after the news broke, which my guess would be that was the Denver Broncos. I think that's what we were hearing. Goody never talked to John Lynch. He never talked to the San Francisco 49ers. And as far as I know, inside the Green Bay Packers organization, that is correct. There was not even, along the lines of what I was saying with the Broncos situation, there was not even a cap discussion of, okay, here's what we might be doing. Here's a framework. How would this work money-wise? So I think everything I've heard lines up with that. I believe the Denver Broncos called after the news broke today, and I do believe that Aaron Rodgers is unhappy with the Green Bay Packers, and he has a right to be unhappy. The only touchdown pass he has thrown to a first-round draft pick is Mercedes Lewis. And no disrespect to the big dog, but he's not a premium pass-catching threat. And no disrespect to Devontae Adams, who's now, in my opinion, the best wide receiver in the NFL at this point in time, but he was not a first-round draft pick. So, yes, and I'll get to this in a little bit, I do think drafting Eric Stokes is helping Aaron Rodgers. It just doesn't look like it. And yes, the Packers re-signed one of the best running backs in the NFL. They have one of the best receivers in the NFL, and they re-signed the best left tackle in the NFL, who will soon return from his ACL injury. So yes, the Packers are giving Aaron Rodgers help. It just doesn't look like they're giving him help. And I think that's what a lot of Packers fans get upset about. So long story short, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going anywhere. Yes, he is unhappy. Because from the outside looking in, there are not big splashy moves being made to get him another star player. But, all things taken into account, they were the number one offense in the NFL last year. Realistically, when you bring everyone back for the most part and run it back, you don't really need big early round additions to go make that offense number one in the NFL again. So my message to Aaron Rodgers and my message to Packers fans is relax. It's going to be okay. So with that sort of taken care of, not really, but for the time being, let's move on to Eric Stokes, who is a 6'1" corner out of the University of Georgia. He was born in Georgia as well. And I'm starting to feel old because Eric Stokes was born in March of 1999. He is 22 years old, and I am 21 years old. Zach Wilson was drafted tonight. I interviewed him. He is my age. And, he's about to go into the NFL, and I'm sitting there interviewing him. So I had that discussion with my girlfriend tonight. It was sad a little bit, but also cool. Like, these guys are my age. You're doing great things. Proud of you. Anyway, Eric Stokes Jr., he grew up in Georgia, very close to where he went to college. The biggest thing about Eric Stokes, his RAS, his relative athletic score, is 9.99 out of 10. We've been talking this entire draft process about how obsessed the Packers are in their draft process about wanting athletes, not necessarily for agent signings, but in their draft process, they just want freak athletes. And Eric Stokes is that freak athlete. He is the size of Kevin King with better ball tracking skills, and he runs a 4.25 40-yard dash. That is very, very close to Chris Johnson's record. I don't think it's Chris Johnson. I think somebody stole that record. Somebody tell me who stole that record. It was somebody after Chris Johnson. It was slightly faster. I want to say it was John Ross, but off the top of my head, I don't know if that's right. Anyway, Eric Stokes is a very, very fast man. He is so fast, so explosive, so dynamic that Georgia used him on the punt team as a gunner. They used him in punt coverage. They used him on field goals as the gunner coming off of the edge trying to block a field goal, because that's how dynamic he is. That's how explosive he is. So, the one thing that exposed the Packers the most in the NFC Championship game, and the one thing Packers fans were the most upset about, was Kevin King. And then Kevin King coming back to the Packers this offseason, which, by the way, that was a team-friendly deal. Really doesn't hurt the Packers much to bring him back on the deal that they did. But now you draft Eric Stokes, who realistically, by the time you get through camp, should be the outside corner opposite Jair Alexander, making Kevin King the third string outside corner on the Green Bay Packers. And that's how it should be. That's what I've wanted this entire time. Give me a guy who, if not week 1, by week 4 or 5, will be replacing Kevin King. I will be a happy man. So everything that the Packers want in an outside corner, Eric Stokes is. He had 4 interceptions in a shortened 2020 season. That's 4 interceptions in 9 games. He was second team All SEC. He is just a freak athlete, and there's not much more that you can ask for in terms of Eric Stokes and being an athlete. So taking a look at the rest of the draft, I do think the Packers are probably going to double up on corner. Um, are they going to draft a wide receiver tomorrow? There are some good wide receiver prospects still out there. Elijah Moore, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Dwayne Eskridge, some of the guys in the second and third round that the Packers could look at, 64 and 92. We'll see how that goes. But that's kind of what we're looking at right now. And again, my initial reaction is I love the pick. I love the player. He seems very excited to go to Green Bay. One of the things he said in his opening press conference, opening Zoom, I guess technically, was he's been watching Jair Alexander for a long time. He loves how he plays. And again, Eric Stokes is that freak kind of athlete that the Packers love drafting, and they love putting him opposite Jair Alexander. It's basically Kevin King 2.0, but much more athletic and seemingly much better ball skills, much better tracking, much better footwork. So that's what Packers fans have to look forward to. Honestly, the majority of the draft went fairly as I expected. There were a couple things that were random. Jacksonville trading up for ETN. That was a little weird. Or they didn't technically trade up. They just took him at their spot. But apparently Urban Meyer wants a 3 running back set with Carlos Hyde, James Robinson, and ETN, which is a little weird to me, but whatever, Urban, go off. And then we also had the interdivisional trade where the Cowboys traded back to allow the Eagles to go up and get Devontae Smith. That was just a whole weird situation. Then the Giants traded back as well and let the Bears get Justin Fields. That's the last thing I wanted to talk about. Yes, it does scare me as a Packers fan seeing Justin Fields go to the Chicago Bears. However, have faith, Packers fans, that the Chicago Bears are a terrible organization that have not had a good quarterback really since Sid Luckman. Their best quarterback in the last 20, 30 years has been Jay Cutler, who was really one of the best quarterbacks the Packers have ever had because he threw so many balls to guys in Packers uniforms. So I have faith that the Chicago Bears will find a way to mess up having Justin Fields. Do I think Justin Fields is the second most talented quarterback in this class? Absolutely. For a very long time, we were having the discussion, is it Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields number 1 overall? And very recently, somehow Zach Wilson became the golden child to go to New York. That's another rant for another day. However, I do believe that Justin Fields is the second most talented quarterback in this class. But again, I do believe that the Chicago Bears will find a way to mess that up. You now have Andy Dalton, Justin Fields, and Nick Foles on your roster. That's just weird. I don't really know what's going to happen with that. We'll see. But I'm sure the Bears will find a way to mess that up. I don't know how. I don't know when. But that team is also not just a quarterback away from contending. This doesn't change the organizational issues. This doesn't change the culture issues inside that locker room. It doesn't change their ownership not doing well in hiring actual football minds to run what they're doing. I'm sure Matt Nagy will mess this up. So sorry, Bears fans, still not confident whatsoever. Proud of the front office for trading up, making a move. But again, I just don't trust them to not screw this up colossally. So cheers to you, Chicago Bears, for probably finding a way to mess up Justin Fields. Anyway, let's see. Is that all I have? I think that's all I have. I will also be putting out at the end of my draft experience a little vlog type thing. I did a really bad job on the first night of taking pictures and videos. Really, the only pictures and videos I took were of actual interviews and just like pictures of the sites and stuff. So maybe I'll make a little collage or something like that. But we will put some sort of compilation together of me being at the draft, some of my interviews, stuff like that. So you can expect that sometime in the next 24, 48, 72 hours, sometime this weekend, early next week. And then at the end of the draft, I'm not going to do this after day 2 because like day 2 doesn't get as much hype. I'll do a reaction at the end of the Packers draft, break it down a little bit, see what it means, see if we can maybe talk to some of the guys, all of that good stuff. So with that in mind, thank you guys for watching. I don't even know how long this has been. It's been like 15 minutes, something like that. Not too long, nothing too crazy. I know my video last year reacting to Jordan Love got a decent amount of views, at least for me. So, hopefully we can bump those numbers up a little bit with this one as well. So has been my reaction to Aaron Rodgers, to the Eric Stokes pick, to everything going on in day 1 of the 2021 NFL draft. Thank you for watching. I'm going to try to get to bed as soon as possible, and I will see you guys at the end of the NFL draft.